Welcome in, everybody who is watching. This is Full Spectrum Survival. We are on a CME watch. Now, we had just put out a video on our other channel, Off Grid with Brad and Kelly, in which we were talking about kind of getting the homestead ready for this kind of thing. Because let's face it, when the CME happens, when you don't have any access to the electrical grid, the police are going to stop working. You're going to have a big problem, and that problem is going to come on very quick. We know that we have a continuity of government issue inside of the United States of America. The ETA on what we're seeing is that it's going to hit at least all the way down to Florida. You're going to see, hey, Jordan, good to see you. You're going to see the northern lights. So you're going to see the aurora borealis. And I want you to remember that for a very, very long time, we're talking 100 years here, folks, this was unheard of. And now we have seen, thanks, Pete. Now we have seen this happen twice in just a 2-year period. So we went from something that was completely unheard of. You never saw the northern lights anywhere south of like Pennsylvania. But now you've seen them down south here in the United States of America twice in a 2-year period. And the scary thing to me is that we have the scientists that are saying, hey, this isn't normal. We don't really know how bad it could be. We don't know what the extent of it is. It could last a very long time, and this could kind of be a new issue that we are experiencing. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Gina, me too. But, my wife said that she doesn't mind being able to actually kiss a cheek now instead of just hair. Hey, R, so what's going on with this? We're just kind of in a watch here. We're kind of watching the CME issue, the northern lights, see what's happening. I don't know. I want to know your guys' experience because for me, the good old spy device that I have right here, our cell phones, they've been acting weird all day. Starlink satellite, that's what we're running off of right now. Starlink satellite has been acting very strange today. It's up, it's down, it's connected, it's disconnected. As far as last night goes, we have had some other issues with electronics. So that's just kind of a little taste that what we are used to as far as our modern life could be over in an instant. I mean, a Carrington event here in the USA would immediately throw us into being a third world country. Because let's face it, our nation, we've already proven this. We have so many enabled babies that are full of delusion inside of this country that they really can't cope with any sort of disruption to what they consider their entitled way of life. And so any tiny little blip in what we see happen, it just throws them all through a loop. Tom says he can't see it yet. Yeah, you guys let me know if you saw it last night. Did anyone see it? We saw it last night here, and it was absolutely crazy. Let me see if I can pull up the video that we had. I'll show you one of the pictures that we had from last night. This was here at our homestead. With your naked eye, down in the south, you're seeing the northern lights like this. And you could actually see the radiation waves moving throughout the sky. The animals were acting really strange. So the animals were meowing for no reason, kind of howling in the woods. The birds that usually don't make any noise at night were starting to make noise. It was definitely something weird was going on. We're south in the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee area, Poker. But my family is from down south in Florida, and they've been able to see them. So if you're seeing them all across the world, all across the country at least, this is a strange time. And if we see a small disruption here that makes it so that our way of life as far as the supply chain or calling the police and having them be able to come out, let me tell you, predators are right now waiting. And just like maybe you're waiting, you have a trigger event that says, hey, if the police can't come, I've got to protect myself. Predators, the bad guys out there, are waiting. And what they're waiting for right now is some sort of event that makes it so that the police don't come when they need to be there. That the social dynamic that we have, the understanding of law and order, erodes. And it's not a slow erosion. I mean, I guess if you look at the last 10 years, you can see that it is worse than it was 10 years ago. But that dynamic completely goes away. The social contract that everyone holds together with, you know, that you say, oh, that person peed me off on the road. Oh, I'm not going to roll my vehicle into them and send them off the side of the street. That's just an idea. It's a social construct. And so it's a contract between me, law and order, you, law and order, and that goes away so quick. And as soon as that goes away, that's when you start seeing people do things that you would have never experienced before. You'll have people who will pull out a force multiplier and use it in a moment. So when we see those types of things, we have to question, what is really holding this all together? Is really everything that's holding this together just the promise that that person has with me that they're not going to hurt me? Because that's just an idea. As soon as they feel like they maybe won't get caught by it, the bad guys, and I'm talking not just the cartels, I'm not just talking about the people who are actively engaged in organized criminal activity right now. I'm talking about your neighbor who, he probably has some bad thoughts running through his head throughout the day. The guy down the street who's maybe on some sort of medication that makes it so that his tinker doesn't think right. Those are the people who are going to be completely and absolutely unhinged when this goes out. Yeah, Midwest Motorman. So I want to know what you guys are seeing out there. You let me know. I'm watching the chat. Midwest Motorman says it's going to be like a purge event. And I couldn't agree with that more. Because people are waiting to act. And they're going to act violently and they're going to act quickly. So as soon as you see that social contract start to erode a little bit, I don't care what you have to tell your kids. They need to stay put. They need to stay home. I don't care what you have to tell your family members, your wife, husband, whoever it is, to come home and stay home. That's what they need to do. Because as soon as you see that chaos going on out there, it's already too late. And if you've ever watched the protests, I'm sure you guys have. When you watch the protests and you see they quickly go from just a holding up signs, then the anger amps up a little bit, and then they act. And then they start throwing rocks, and then they start lighting fires to things, and then they start looting the buildings. And then they start attacking the vulnerable people in the protest. And so a lot of people who want to do bad will actively engage in these types of things because it's an outlet for them. It's like a mosh pit at a death metal concert, right? So you get these people together and they feel all this anger inside of them and they say, you know what, I'm going to act. And so I'm going to take it out there. Well, that mosh pit is going to become your neighborhood or your kid's school. I appreciate you too, Ruth Ann. So thank you so much for being here with us. Plenty of trails today. People are seeing lots of stuff in the sky. D says, I have an extremely bad neighbor. He took out another neighbor's dog. He has an open police file. So the police know about him. And lots of times the police aren't going to do anything about bad people unless they can get something from them. You see, a cop would much rather get a DUI. The justice system would much rather get a DUI from a businessman, right? Why? Because that means the county and the state immediately get $20,000. It's a lucrative business. But the guy who's been in and out of jail his whole life has no problem going to jail. In fact, he's got bros inside of jail. Maybe some girlfriends inside a male jail. They have no problem going to that kind of place. And the cops don't want anything to do with them because the justice system knows there's no money in old crazy Dan over there. Absolutely no money at all. And so they put him in and they throw him out. And so it's that type of person who's really going to act badly in this type of situation. And that's what you got to kind of keep on your highest alert. I haven't seen you live in a while. Hey, Colleen, that's right. Yeah, we haven't been live too much, but we just put a video out on our off-grid channel. I'm going to throw another link there. I pinned one to the top. This video is talking about a concern with these blackouts or CME events. I'm just seeing too many solar scientists and researchers saying that what we're normalizing is very far from normal. And they're watching all these things and they know all about them. And let's face it, they didn't have the ability to gather information back in the Carrington event when it fried electrical grids, when it kind of knocked everybody back down a notch that we have right now. We can only scale things so high. And my wife said to me just on our way home today, she said, well, really, what's the difference? Why do you not see a Carrington event from something like a G5 storm? The reason you don't see it is kind of like the difference in a hurricane that's, a category 3 or a category 5. 5's the max. And you can have a 5 go through somewhere and it might not do too much damage. But you can have a 5 go somewhere and that 5 completely decimates everywhere that it touches. And so that's what we're kind of like watching out for with these types of solar events is what happens when that bad solar storm becomes the one that wipes us out. Thanks, D, so much. Kabooti says, have you seen any good movies lately? I did an Alien movie. An Alien Earth was okay too. The Alien movie, I think, was it was out in 2022 or 2024. It was one of their most recent ones, and it was really a good movie. It's like they went back to the 1990s with it, where it was just action and a little bit of adventure. So that was probably the last good movie that I've seen recently. Probably one of the better ones this year. Yeah, possible serious earthquakes from these types of events. Thank you so much, Backyard Brawl. Over in Maine, people are waking up. Gosh, I hope so. I mean, everybody's waking up, right? It's just they're starting to decide which side do they want to wake up on. And so we still have a ton of that division inside of our country. And that division is going to be our downfall. And the government knows it. Let's face it, they wrote into the bills, and I'm starting to see this now, that whole government shutdown thing, one of the biggest scams that they have ever ruined us with. So they made people go to work, not get paid. They made the military do stuff that they normally wouldn't have to do. They're gearing up and ratcheting up this Civil War thing. And it was also that two different agendas that don't really have you as a person, your best interest in mind. Because let's face it, they would take away taxes. They would say, hey, let's tariff a whole bunch of other countries. Let's do away with your taxes. Something's $10 at the store, you pay $10 to it. You paid off your house, you never pay another dime on it. You get an electrical bill compensation. We're going to put solar on your roof for you. If the government did that, then you know the government is actually looking out for you and not working in their own interest. And so I'm starting to see right now that they worked into this most recent bill that they would pay themselves $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 divided between themselves. And they got paid the whole time they were squawking about the government being shut down. So it's really, really a crazy situation out there in whole because they don't care about you and me. And that's obvious that when we see a disaster happen, they don't care about bringing us back online. Now, I'm fortunate I have satellite internet from Elon Musk. A CME will completely wipe that out. I'll have no access. So do I have a backup? Absolutely. But will a CME strong enough wipe that backup out? Absolutely. We'll be offline. You'll be offline. The trucks will stop running. The streets of our country will be littered with rotting supplies and bricks. Let's face it, every electronic that's in a truck will be a brick. It'll be good for nothing. So we really have to be aware that we could get knocked back into the 1400s tomorrow. We could get knocked back in at any point in time. And they're not going to care about you and me. They're going to keep the gold locked up in the gold reservoirs that they have. I don't think that's in Fort Knox, let's face it. But they're going to keep the gold safe. They're going to keep the nuke plants operating. The power plants and the nuke plants do have backups. But then they're going to route all of that power to critical infrastructure. And that's not you. And it's not me. And when the purge starts coming, when the people start actually acting badly, they're not going to care about it. The government will continue with or without you. Google account, I like that name. Chainsaw will still run. They're simple, like model engine airplanes. Yeah, that's right. So what do you have as backups? You guys let me know down here. If we went back to the 1400s, which we have 1400 viewers right now, if we went back to the 1400s, what would life be like? I think that life in my closest area will be a drive for food. In my area, I'm talking about the neighbors, the people around me. I live in a very, very extremely small area. Not very many people. You've really got to ruck it out there. I think the people around me will be very food motivated. And because I live in the South and I chose an area that everybody knows how to live frugal. And there's a large religious grouping. There's lots of Mennonites and Amish people. They know how to live like it's 1400s. Even though my brother did tell me a story that the Mennonites down in Florida, they somehow, I guess, can get away with driving electric buggies. And he says they're going 45 miles an hour. Used to see them on horse and buggy, and now they're going 45 miles an hour down the street, whizzing by everybody else. Will they be prepared, or have they gotten too modernized? So what's life going to be like? Escape from New York. You know, I think, yes, it will be like Escape from New York. And let's face it, it already is. When that SNAP benefit problem happened, women were already telling other women to prostitute, to put food on the table. And everybody in the comments of those videos were like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And while I agree you've got to do what you've got to do, I don't agree with breaking moral boundaries when you could have been better prepared and you could do other things. Why not say, hey, go learn a skill. Go be an electrician today. Go learn some plumbing. Go to a range. Learn to be a hunter. I would much rather see some ghetto-fied people being hunters, fishermen and fisherwomen, than out there selling their selves. And let's face it, we've got a lot of bad parents on here. Part of their prepper plan is prostitution, is selling themselves, is illicit drug sales. And so where you and I put food away, there's probably people putting bricks of coke or gas station meth. Well, it used to be crank, right? That's what it used to be called. People are probably stocking up on that because that's what's important to them. And people will, in times of disaster and distress, seek out those types of things. So I think my area is going to be very food focused. There's people around me who don't have electricity today and they live just fine. They go up to the truck stations and they shower. They have no running water and they live just fine. They make crafts and they sell them at the marketplace, like trade marketplaces, and they live just fine. And there's lots of people around me like that. So I don't think they will be too scared when the power shuts off. But they might, because there's a difference between everyone around you living a normal modern life and you being able to dig out your survival mechanisms and everybody around you being thrusted into that same chaos. And chaos is really a contagious disease for your mind. And so when that chaos starts to become common, the disease of the mind picks up and people don't, they're like, oh, everybody's freaking out. Well, I better freak out too. And it's subconscious. Stocking whiskey and tobacco, hey, that's okay. Those are barter and trade items. Stocking up on things that you can barter and trade with, or you can, most importantly, help people come off of their usuals, which is, alcohol or tobacco. If you can slow that down, absolutely. So when the purge happens, everyone needs bushcraft. That's right. Needs to know how to put up a shelter, have ponchos. Let's go through, and you guys let me know in the chat. Thanks so much, Night Diver. I've been young, and now I'm old, yet I've not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Psalms 37. Yeah, so I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. That's an important thought, right? Because we have seen a lot, but we have seen only a glimpse into what things will really be like. And I think that everyone's ability to hold on to their faith, even just faith in each other, because let's face it, you have to have faith in your family members that they're going to come through with you when these types of things happen. You have to have faith in your friends that they will maybe heed the call to act. You have to have kind of a higher faith that maybe this won't all go into the dumpster fire. But like Gospel just said, people don't generally like each other. And I think that when you peel back the very thin veil, I think that we are a very tribalistic species, a very tribalistic being. And you have your tribe who you trust. That doesn't mean that you look at other tribes and you're like, oh, I want to go take you out. No, those are the baddies that want to do that. Those are not the good ones. But I think you look at those other tribes and you're like, oof, I better keep a close eye over there. Because the women and children here, they need protecting. And I think it becomes a responsibility. So if you don't have that willpower to hold on to a responsibility of survival, a lot of people are going to give up, folks. And that's scary. I've seen a lot of people say they just couldn't endure a return to the 1400s. MCH says, I've been following for years. I think I speak for everyone here. We all appreciate the work you do for us. And it's not just me, it's also my wife and our oldest son. Thank you so much. We are all in this together. You guys are part of our family because we are all in this together. I mean, we might never meet each other personally. We might be even in other countries. We have people that watch through proxies in Asian countries like China here. We send through our Patreon cards. You know, we send out survival cards every day and every month in the mail. We have people send them to their families in the Middle East that couldn't get it. And those are people who are holding on to that stuff because they would probably be taken out or attacked or, condemned for even thinking of a survival mechanism in light of what we're seeing. Because you're meant to be a good servant. We will unite. Colleen, does your family pray? I think that, everyone's faith, and we don't really get into faith often here on this channel. I think there's no perfect ideology of faith, right? And so if you commune with your creator, and if you are thankful and you take your blessings when you come and you don't blame your creator for the hardships when they're there, I think we're doing okay. So that's really every night before we go to bed, we say what we're thankful for that day. Because trust me, I've had some rough days. Kids have had rough days. And for a kid, a rough day could be the internet's out or the work was hard, with the chickens or we lost an animal. If you don't take that time to look at what you're thankful for that day, you can really be ultra perceptive of the bad. I already hit the hype button. Thank you so much, UFO Mark. Appreciate it. If you do see the hype button on this video, please definitely hit it. My question is, can nuclear weapons be fired when the grid is out? Yeah, so they have a mechanical analog backup to be fired. Mutually, that was a movie we watched recently. What was it called, Kel? That one on Netflix? Do you remember? Okay, it was a recent one on Netflix. It was really too drawn out. If it was a 20-minute movie, it would have been much better. But it was about that lead up to the firing of nuclear weapons. An unknown ICBM was entering into American airspace. We failed on a shoot down. And that's really the reality of it. Because we do have these plans. We don't have a golden dome yet. And even if we do, that war between Israel and Iran showed us very clearly that it's a saturation war. A house of dynamite, Kelly said. So they did a bad job about making our military incompetent, and they really over-personalized each person because, let's face it, a soldier knows You just do what you're told. You're not thinking about all these other things, because your chance at keeping your family alive and the family of your family revolves around you being able to hold it together. And so they over personalized that, and they kind of saw everybody had a problem, whether it was the president, he was over personalized instead of just doing his job. The people pushing the buttons, they were over personalized. Jericho, another awesome series there. Jericho is a great series, and it kind of shows how bad things can be after the event. Stock up on cotton candy. While I don't have any here, my youngest son used to like cotton candy, and we would stock up on it at that time, but it doesn't last too long. You become a hard cotton brick at some point in time. Are there any other good movies or shows to watch? I would try the Alien Earth show. It kind of took a turn on Elon Musk and how there's factions already fighting right now. And it kind of played into how the government doesn't really have any plan. And it's really the factioning fights of corporations. Those are the people who really make the rules. Stop the garbage. Oh, I don't even know what people were talking about. So what do you think about lack of pharmaceuticals in a grid down event? And we're getting dark out there. You guys let me know if you're starting to see some of the CME. I'll show you another picture that we got from it. And this one, you can really see the solar rays. I don't think this is the one that I showed earlier. I'll show you the video too. Here you can really see it. Excuse me. So you really have to be in awe of, you've got a lot there in Iowa, says Andrea. You really have to be in awe of the fact that we could be knocked out really at any time. Dependency on medication, huge problem. 65% of our country is dependent on some sort of medication. And I'm not talking over the counter, you know. I could pack away some Advil if I get a sprain, and I did, and that's one of our Patreon cards we're sending out. So there's something called the Ottawa program. Basically, how you tell the difference if you broke your ankle or you sprained your ankle. Can you take 4 steps on it? Can you put a little weight on it? Can you press in certain areas? That is the type of knowledge we need. And I can pack some ibuprofen away if I get an injury like that. But so many people are dependent on psychological medications, heart medications. That's what is really scary to me. Do we know why our chickens suddenly started laying more eggs? No. They started to go down, which we're like, okay, this is seasonal. We've had chickens pretty much for the last 10, 12 years. Seasonal things happen. They start to go down. Then the CME started popping off, and the chickens started. We got 17 eggs today. A week ago, we were getting 6, 7 eggs. We got like 12 yesterday and 17 eggs today. It's absolutely crazy. Thank you so much for the super chat, Mark. As always, remember, we are the ones we've been waiting for. The Hopi elder said that. Yeah, so if that's really a good idea to keep in mind too, that it's right now, you have the chance to prepare. You have the chance to do everything. You can buy fish mocks for $25. Can you still buy it? Because I know when COVID came, they really took away all of our ability to buy medication for our animals. So if you can still buy fish mocks, let me know down there. Didn't you add a light? So we added the light like 2 weeks ago. No production change, maybe a 10% production change. And so the real test of this is going to be after the CMEs are done. Then what's it going to look like? Is our egg production going to go back down to nothing or minimal? That's going to be a test. And if we do see that, because let me tell you, servers have been acting up today. The internet, people are saying Verizon, T-Mobile, it's been acting up today. We're starting to see effects that we didn't know. And if you're a nurse or if you have nurse family, ask them how affected they believe people are from CMEs or solar storms, coronal mass ejections, new moons, and full moons. Do they see a difference? Because I know a lot of nurses. We have nurses in our groups. We have nurses that I've grown up with and around. My neighbor all growing up was a nurse. She was an overnight nurse and said that the full moon was the worst in the ER. So I'm interested. Do you see a change now? Do we have any aware nurses who look at what's happening and see that during a CME, things are crazy? Are the animals acting weird? Is there more animal bites? If you're at a veterinarian, tell me if you see any different animal behavior. Omega Survival, Super Chat, $9.99. Thank you so much. Can we just get a 2-week Carrington event to test out our preps? Hello from Coleman, Alabama. Hey, how's it going down south there? So, a 2-week Carrington event. The best thing that you can do, I guess, is take your own off-grid days. Internet went out, says Rod. Take your own off-grid days and see how things work. Go shut the breakers off. Tell the kids, sorry, this is what we're doing today. We want to see really how long these things last, what we can do with. What does your brain start to do when you're devoid of the modern life? And have no time limit on it. Tell them all I don't know when we're going to turn it back on. If you have somebody who, of course, needs climate control for their longevity of life, like you have older people need to be stuck in that 65 to 80 degree range, keep them there. But for everybody else, if you can endure it, or go camping. That's probably one of the best things we can do is go camping with nothing. And let me tell you, on a cold winter night, we will feel very, very fortunate for climate control in the house. I hear that. I'm the ant, and all the people I know are grasshoppers. Everyone I know has their head in the sand, says Slave. And the people who I know don't live too far away. The lunatic effect is absolutely real. The site refused my gift 3 times, says Colleen. Same problem as before. So Colleen, if you'll message fullspectrumsurvival@gmail.com, I'll have Kelly send it over to you. Because it's just her personal, and I wouldn't want to put it out here on the chat screen. But thank you so much for thinking of us and supporting our group and family here. Today's verse says, "Run to God, TV, radio." And I think that the verses of faith, they're meant to teach, right? And they're meant to remind us. And it says, "For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom." So the dominion of darkness. And I think that really could be what we experience when we see a CME. I'm going to light my wood stove. And here's where prepping really goes to help other people, right? My brother lost literally everything in a hurricane, 2 years ago? And thankfully, him and his business partner, 20 years, they bought property up by me, not too far away from me. And he said, I just have to get up there whether I live in a shack or not. And he sold everything that he has, and he's building out a place. I had a wood stove in our storage that it was my plan to put a nice wood stove into our home. Just haven't gotten to it yet. But how blessed am I that I have that. I wouldn't be able to afford it right now to give it to him, just buy it and give it to him, but I have it. And so in his house, we have a wood stove. I had a backup propane tank. He gets the propane tank. Had some other things to get the house up and rolling. And so because of my prep, I had the ability to pass that on. And so that to me is amazing. And I know that if I have problems, that he's there, and that's support structure. And we've always been close, my oldest brother and I. He actually was on the very first videos of this channel, very first movies on Full Spectrum Survival. I'm sure you guys have seen him. We know how to get through it together. And that support structure is really important. Let's see, just seeing this. Hey, Sharon, glad you made it to the live show here. My wood stove has been burning for a week. 22 degrees Fahrenheit is too cold. Now, what kind of insulation do you have? And how does your wood stove, is it a large wood stove, Beans and Frank? And does that really do the job? Is it more than enough? Are you able to keep it on low and just put a couple of, small things in there? Or do you really have to crank it through? Stop the fighting. Gosh, I hope that our whole world listens to that. But if we're not fighting amongst ourselves, then what distraction do the people in power who are making life miserable have that we won't look at them? We have to remember that. A ginormous space heater, says Sherry D. And get a generator so you can back that up. And maybe put the generator under its own, insulated off the ground, maybe even grounded tin or metal cage, so that if you have a CME or a blackout, then you won't have to find a small engine repairman who can maybe get it working again. Or if it's an older generator, maybe you don't even need that. On that video we just put out on our off-grid channel, that was what we talked about. How rich you'll be if you have a vehicle that works when everyone else doesn't. But you're also a target. And so when the rich become the targets, but you're not rich enough to have an army like Bezos of Amazon, Zuckerberg, they're paying private security groups, not a guy. They're not walking around with a guy. They've got a whole group, an army of people who have signed non-disclosure agreements, who have been trained that they have no family, so they have no ties to anywhere. They're picked out exclusively by their willingness to act. And then Bezos and Zuckerberg and everybody that says, hey, we'll pay you. We'll keep paying you. We'll feed you. You've got a doctor here. You just protect everything when it all goes bad. So why are all the big bads preparing for the whole world to fall apart? And then we kind of pivot and we say, okay, well, why are they also building AI and robotics that can do basically every single human job? BMW has been using robots with arms and fingers to build vehicles. And they've been doing it for like a year or two. Surgeons, robotics. What they did is they transitioned from a robot that a surgeon would control, and so they had all of the engineering there, and then they had AI take over. And so now you have elite AI robotic surgeons doing things. So what else is there? You guys let me know. What is safe out there? Now, I'm not saying don't try to strive to become a surgeon. Absolutely, you should. A chemist, a biologist, a veterinarian, a plumber, know how to build houses, an engine repairman. Yes, do all those things. But they are purposefully making us unnecessary. And I think if you've been in this game as long as our family has, you know what they used to call us. They don't call us it anymore. Useless eaters. And their goal was to always improve on how useless we were. Because if we are no bother or burden or do nothing for them, then they can really operate the way that they want to. Who's that, Godson? Who are you guys talking to out there? Wow, people, your survival game. It looks like we had one guy with 3 accounts come on real quick. Yeah, Stephen Clark. Let's see. He's just, it's okay. You can tell us what got your panties in a ruffle, Stephen. We'd like to hear it. If maybe you don't know, the sign of the times, you guys let us know, because you're just talking a lot out there. And I don't, everybody can have their own opinions, but when they resort to very low IQ, I'm talking way down here, let me just call you a name. Obviously, you can't engage in very strong discussion. So if you're like, hey, nobody needs survivalism, nobody needs preparedness, you let us know what's going on out there. Or if you're talking about somebody else, let us know, because we want to engage with everybody. Like, I don't think that we have to look at how bad things are and say, oh, well, this person is crazy. Hey, if somebody out there and they're like, the earth is flat, I'm like, okay, I haven't seen otherwise. But I don't think it is. I just haven't seen otherwise. But maybe it is. And if it is, okay. Does it change my day-to-day life? Absolutely not. So I think we can take almost everything out there, whether people see a threat in biologics, because let's not forget, the University of Michigan, I think it just was, the University of Michigan just allowed Chinese nationals to bring in biologically harmful fungus and material that can wipe out our crops. Why were they doing it? We also had biolabs here in the United States of America operated by Chinese nationals, creating and engineering biological material, including the mixture of things like HIV and herpes and all sorts of other things. Why? We also had an open border policy that freely let in operators from other countries, enemy countries to the United States of America. Why are they here? Droning. We had a balloon go across our sensitive military sites gathering information. Why? So I think it's pretty obvious that we are kind of in the middle of a really crazy series of events, not just one event. And I think that when we look at that, we kind of step back, we say, okay, you know, maybe the most paranoid are just ahead of the game. And would you rather sleep at night knowing, hey, I did everything that I can today, knowing the condition of our world, or be like the other people who are out there drowning themselves in alcohol, drowning themselves in drugs, drowning themselves in all these other things to force the reality away? Because reality is a hard slap in the face. And like America just said, I'd rather be prepared. I would rather wear my seatbelt and never have to use it. But I know car accidents happen out there. I would rather have that fire extinguisher. I've got two, one here and one by my door. I would rather have them there and never have to use it because I know house fires exist. And I would rather have a force multiplier and never have to use it because I know that bad people are out there. And I would rather have right up there an anti-choking device and never have to use it because I know people choke every day. And I would rather have all of these things and the information to know that these things really can happen. And I think it's best that we all try to do something to prepare. Now, if I had a severe allergic reaction and didn't have Benadryl, well, what would you do? What if you can't afford Benadryl? Almost everybody out there can afford diphenhydramine in the pill form off-brand, but let's just say you didn't have access to it. Did you know caffeine has been used for a very long time as a antihistamine? Did you know that if somebody can't get their gallbladder medication, they can change their diet to 1 to 5% fenugreek, garlic, or onions? And that the garlic that they start taking for their gallbladder problems, and I'm not a doctor or giving medical advice, but the garlic they start taking will also clear their cholesterol, the unhealthy kind, and it will lower their blood pressure. And so if you have access to information and a little preparedness, and you start to see kind of the direction that things are going, you can sleep like a freaking baby at night. And your kids are safe or your pets are safe. I've got pets. Let me show you what I got here. Found this bad boy in a crawling around the house. You can see him there. He is a common scorpion to my area. And rather than take him out, which of course, hey, you might take them out, but they sting like a bee, right? So they have a pretty decent sting on them. And scorpions, I don't know if you know already, but the size of their claws is the direct opposite of the size of the toxicity of their venom. So if they have a smaller series of claws, they have more toxic venom, and that means that they don't need to use their claws so much. They can just sting the junk out of whatever they have access to. They don't need those claws. Well, what else have we got? We've got a terrarium we built here with some isopods, that's roly-polies for anybody else, and some springtails that, let me see if I can get a picture of that. And why do we do that? Well, because it teaches us about our local environment. It teaches us about the soil that we have here, and the kids get to take part in it. It becomes a family project. And you learn, well, how well does this soil really drain? Because I can see through it. I know the layers of it. And now I can adapt that information to my plants. If I am using just my raw soil, I can kind of say, okay, I know what it's going to act like. Martin says Martin's about to go on a 10-mile walk. That's a great walk. Thank you for the many years of information. Head on a swivel and stay safe. Have a safe walk, Martin, and really keep that up. That's great for cardio. Sting like a bee, float like a butterfly. Ground bees and yellow jackets. Yeah, yellow jackets are just an angry creature of this earth, aren't they? They want to tag you. And what really gets me about yellow jackets is they can sting you more than once. They can just keep stinging and stinging and stinging. Whereas a bee, it stings you once. It's really making its last-ditch effort there. So I would rather have access to all of this information and all of these tools at my disposal and never have to use it. And so I think that that's really the turning point for us. Put your medicine in a vacuum sealed bag with oxygen absorbers. So yeah, medicine is important to seal away. If you use something like Jace Medical or Contingency Medical, they teledoc you medicine. Moxicillin, zithromycin, doxycycline. Did you know that low-dose, long-term doxycycline is one of the most proven, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving you medical advice, look up the studies yourself, one of the most proven treatment options for Lyme's disease. Lyme's disease you get from ticks. And it's kind of funny that they started rolling out genetically modified ticks and they were making people allergic to red meat, done by Bill Gates. At the same time, Bill Gates was saying we need to stop eating meat. Those are just those coincidences out there that really make you think about it and say, maybe there's a bigger plan. Will 12 gauges make them change their mind? I'll tell you what, whether a 12 gauge or a 22. So this is a 22. I'll show the difference here. 22, teensy beansy. 12 gauge, a little bit stronger there. But would you willingly take a hit from either one? No. Because you respect that each one of these two things truly has the ability to change your life. And so having self-defense of any kind, really important. Another one of our preparedness cards we sent out. My son had recently broken his glasses. And did you know that you can use super glue and mix it with the ash of your survival fire, and it turns into a hardened material that's harder than epoxy and harder than plastic. And so if you have a broken glasses, well, in a survival situation, you have a way to repair it if you have a little bit of super glue and a little bit of ash from your fire. 12 gauge bird shot, closing up your vulnerable areas of your house. If not, lock yourself in your house, wait it out. So where are you guys lacking? I know where I'm lacking. Why visual? What do you mean, Richard? I've been seeing people go back to what worked in the Bible's times. Frankincense is a really powerful, very, very powerful item. I think you should look it up. Baking soda works with super glue. Yeah, baking soda, ash from your fire. I think even if you finely ground something with a certain pH, no matter what that is, I think you can even use calcium carbonate, like Tums. Tums are calcium carbonate, but so is eggshell. So eggshell from your chickens, calcium carbonate. You bake it, you crush it up real small, and it will bind with the super glue, and it will be something you can use. Well, guys, I don't want to take your whole night up here. We're kind of watching. Let's go ahead and scroll through. Let's see if we've got anything going on here on the CME. What happened on our sun was really wild. Solar wind improving, bulk CME approaching. All it takes is a good flip, and that's kind of it for everybody. Here's some images coming in of the coronal mass ejection resulting in the aurora borealis, the northern lights across the country. Let's listen to what Noah has to say.
Hello again from the Space Weather Prediction Center. We are still monitoring the coronal mass ejection, those blasts of solar material in the form of charged particles and strong magnetic fields that were directed here towards Earth, and what's transpiring from yesterday on into today. So yesterday we had 2 of 3 CMEs arrive here last night, and they arrived here at Earth with a pretty darn good punch, enough to warrant the G4, the severe storm levels that we did in fact achieve last night. So a lot of the country got to see the aurora, those northern lights last night. Well, that CMEs have since passed mostly over Earth, perhaps even totally past Earth, but the third CME has arrived.
So that's kind of what we're watching out for, is what could happen with this. So guys, if you haven't already, please go over to our Off Grid with Brad and Kelly channel, where we kind of discuss things more on as it relates to trying to go off grid, trying to have backups, trying to focus on that 1400s style of living. I'm going to put another link to the video we put out today. It's also pinned here. I think it's in the description too. But I want to thank you guys for being here with us tonight and watching what happens with this. I'm going to get out there because it's pitch black outside. I'm going to see if I can catch some more pictures and video of these northern lights, the auroras. If anything crazy were to happen and we don't have internet tomorrow because it doesn't stop and we just get blasted, well, I'm glad you're a part of our family here. And I'm glad that we have watched all of these things together. I don't think that's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. But it will sometime. Scientists say it's not if, it's when. Because our Earth has seen extreme freezes. Our Earth has seen floods. Our Earth has seen earthquakes so bad that it rips apart continents. Our Earth has seen entire grouping areas of a continent go underwater. Our Earth has seen plagues. Our Earth has seen all of these things, and it will see them again. So let's watch all of this together, guys. Thank you for being here with us. Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Thank you so much for all of these super chats. Colleen, I'll make sure that Kelly gets to that email. Thank you guys for all of the love that you show our family. It's just us three. Me, my wife, and our oldest son putting all this information together. I don't want anyone to worry about it. So I'm like, hey, I would rather wear the burden of responsibility because I'm already doom scrolling for my family. I already see the patterns and the trends of things that are going, and I'd rather tell you about it than you worry about it. So when we see the big ones, we talk about it. Thank you guys for being here with us. From my family to yours, please stay safe. Make sure you're subscribed to us over there at Off Grid with Brad and Kelly, and just keep watching. We're just watching together. Much love from us. Make sure you say your thankfuls tonight. What are you thankful for? And then on top of that, we say what we want to do tomorrow. So today, what we're thankful for, and today I'm thankful for spending a little bit of time here with you. Tomorrow, I'd like to have the power on, and I would like to, let's see. I'd like to find the well pipe that we need to find for my brother's property. Thank you guys. Much love from our side to yours. Stay safe and